Craig! What is wrong with you? Are you trying to get us shut down? What? This isn't acceptable at all. What did that burger do to you to make you think it deserved a horrific fate such as this? Oh, and I can just imagine what you did to the hot dog. Craig, my lad, we're gonna have to teach you how to prepare food. And the best method to learn this is through internet flash games. You have most certainly heard about the Papa's Pizzeria series of flash games before, and if you haven't, then you're a filthy liar. But if you're genuine about this, then 1, I feel very sorry for you. And 2, they're very basic browser games that involve making various different food items. You have burgers, tacos, cupcakes, chicken wings, sushi, hot dogs, ice cream, spaghetti, more ice cream, and grilled cheese. And I want to talk about these games today, but they're all pretty similar, so I'll take a good handful of them and talk about all of them simultaneously throughout the video. One problem though, there's so many of them, and it kind of makes it hard to find one to start with. But I think I can narrow it down just a little bit. The first one probably isn't the best choice. Since we're doing a retrospective, it's important that I give special attention to the first game in the series, of course. Here is the original Papa's Pizzeria, released in 2007 by Flipline Studios. If I'm not mistaken, this was intended to be a spin-off of the Papa Louie platformers. Think about it. If Louie is busy saving the universe, then who's going to run the pizzeria? Me. So, the team made a pizza making game. Sounds epic, right? Well, kinda, I guess. You play as Roy the delivery boy, a poor dude who always looks like he dreads every living moment of his life. He'd probably prefer the pizza putting him in the oven. Customers will come in and give you their order. From there, you put on the proper ingredients, cook the pizza, and then cut it with the pizza cutter. Afterwards, you'll be graded depending on how well you did in every field. Some customers want specific toppings on certain parts of their pizza, or their pizza cooked for a longer amount of time. They can even possibly ask for the horrid act of only cutting it into 4 slices. What kind of freak are you? A lot of the time, the way the pizzas are made just do not look correct at all, like no care was put into them whatsoever. Then you look at the person who made them and it begins to make sense, honestly. Earlier, it sounded like I held slightly negative opinions on this game, and that's because I do. The game feels very slow and gets repetitive way quicker than the future entries. This is because, aside from rank ups, you can't use your money for anything. You unlock every topping on day 2, meaning that there's nothing else to unlock afterwards, and the customer's orders take longer for Roy to jot down than they really should. Unfortunately, this one is hard to come back to when compared to the later titles. Something funny is this little guide that'll highlight each of the stations. While you're giving the customer a pizza, it won't be usable, and instead it will display WAIT! So, I did what all good employees do when they get bored. I messed around. And now, I present to you Luggo's Communist Feast. And that slice right there, that one's mine. What did I do wrong? Moving on from Pizzeria, we have an improvement with Burgeria. This one stars 2 characters that you can choose from. This one stars 1 character you can choose from, and that's all you really need. Now then, what does Burgeria add to the gameplay of the first? Well, the tutorial's more descriptive. We're making burgers now instead of pizza. Wow, Luggo, thanks for the information! And an upgrade shop has been added to make use of your tips so that you can make quality of life adjustments to the restaurant. I didn't put a lot of time into this one, seeing as it's still pretty basic even compared to the other games, but I have to give it credit, this one sort of got the series into the position that it's in today. I see it like this. Pizzeria laid the foundation for the series, and Burgeria retooled the gameplay to make it more fun and set a pathway for future games to have their own take on this newly developed formula. But perhaps I'm looking too deep into a game about a man with a funny mustache making burgers. I'm so funny. I mean, Peter, what are you doing? The series got more fleshed out as time went on, with additions such as obtaining furniture to decorate your restaurant and customizing your own character. Personally, I think you'll get the most enjoyment from Taco Mia and beyond, especially Wingeria because that's where features hit their absolute peak. But regardless of any of that, I think that you should be aware that all these games are pretty similar to one another. Aw yeah, that's right, Logo's about to crack into Papa's secret formula. Now, the main aspect that is different across all the games is how the food is prepared, of course. They do try to add in their own bit of spice, and the more they do that, the better the game is in my opinion. But no matter how hard they try to stray off the main path, they're still the same game at the very core. The amount of customers in a single day will steadily increase as the game goes on, and you'll also unlock new toppings or other features that add more to the cooking experience. This could make the game more challenging since the multitasking will increase as the game goes on, but even with all of that, the games are still really easy. The only people who would find these games difficult are people who thought Pokemon X and Y was challenging, or game journalists. I can see it now. Papa's Pancakeria is the Dark Souls of pancake making. But yeah, the games are a very casual experience, and it's really easy to not mess up. And you can always refer back to the customer's ticket to see what they ordered. I mean, I messed up the buns in Hot Doggeria a lot, but the customers were still pretty generous with their rating. And that's why I have adopted the new motto: Logo is always right. No, that is not a toenail in your fries. Even the closers, who are supposed to be tougher on grading, aren't much more strict. They just seem more intimidating, and occasionally make me question if I need to call the police. On top of that, every week, Jojo the food critic will visit your restaurant ordering something new every time he's there. Jojo's Bizarre Order. And that's how the games go. You'll also unlock new furniture from minigames and outfits to customize your character. Heck, starting from Wingeria, you could actually create your own character. Now, because these games share the same basic formula, I don't know which one of them I can recommend playing. I'll go into some specific details about a few of the games in just a minute. However, they're all similar enough to where you should just find one you think looks cool and then stick with it. Because unlocking a bunch of new toppings is really fun and adds more variety to each game, even if they really stretch what could be considered tasty on certain food. Bruh, is that a tomato slice on a hot dog? Are you insane? Wait a second. I think I left my microwave plug. Now then, there are so many of these games that I didn't end up playing them all, but I feel like I should at least give you some details on the ones I did end up playing. I decided to put the most dedication into Hot Doggeria because in the past I'd always claimed it to be one of the weakest games in the series. But I hadn't actually played it for that long, so I felt the need to give it a fair chance this time. And I still stand by that original opinion. Don't get me wrong, all these games are pretty enjoyable to some extent, but this one's a bit too basic. The one unique trait that this one has going for it is the soda and popcorn. Basically, you press a button, and then you press another button. I know, it's so revolutionary! But after that, I decided to play one of the games that I hadn't played yet. Papa's Pizzeria, which ended up being a lot more fun than I thought it would be. There's something that feels really fast-paced about this one. Maybe it's the snappy transitions into each station, but I don't know. You take the bread, then the sauce, then the ingredients, and then you chop it in halfsies. And then there's Pancakeria, which was actually my most played Papa's game whenever I was a dumb ittle-bittle kid. My expectations for this one were actually pretty low because I thought it would get tedious cooking so many pancakes. And let me tell you, the most boring thing about these games is waiting for something to cook. Just sitting there with nothing else to do makes watching paint dry seem like the freaking Super Bowl. Okay, this is basketball, but it's practically the same thing. But they do something pretty smart, and they compensate for the amount of pancakes you have to cook by not only letting you cook 8 at once, but also giving you a stove booster as soon as the game starts. Normally, this is an upgrade you have to buy with your tips, but this time it's on the house. And alongside that, there are so many options for building here, not only due to the toppings, but also because you'll be using multiple pancakes too, providing a lot of variety. Now, I know that there's a dedicated subculture of Papa's Pizzeria fans who just like messing around in the games, myself included. But I'd like to give special attention to this game because you can make truly splendid disasters here.
So, how long is this gonna take?
You can't rush art.
Oh, and I could talk about Pizzeria, but the only thing I feel the need to mention there is... Papa Louie has a freaking monopoly on the fast food industry, even with stuff that isn't fast food, but it still qualifies because it's fast and it's food. Besides the few times where it resembles something you'd find in a gas station bathroom, but I digress. This could have something to do with his way of manipulating people into working for him. Yeah, I bet you've never noticed it, but Papa Louie is actually evil. In Pancakeria, your cat goes missing and Papa Louie ends up finding it. How do you repay him? Well, by working at his new establishment, of course. And for how long? Sweet mother of Peter! How about in Pizzeria, where you're doing a performance at Papa Louie's new restaurant and your band equipment gets stolen? His first thought isn't helping you find a criminal. No, it's something more like, hey, how about you work at my new grilled cheese shop? And in Hot Doggeria, because all the tickets are sold out, your character is forced to work at Papa Louie's hot dog stand if they want to watch any baseball games. And here's the thing. The stadium was clearly rigged to run out of tickets. Why is the receptionist giving JoJo 3 tickets? And more importantly, who even is the receptionist? Okay, that's enough of that. I've given the theorist YouTubers more than enough material to work with. But that's all I had to say about the series. It's a great distraction whenever you're bored. So, what are you waiting for? There's literally like no reason for you not to be playing them right now. Unless if you're watching this video a year from now. If you didn't know, Flash is going to die by next year. And because of that, all of these games will be gone. Yeah, there are the mobile ports, but it's still really disheartening to see the original versions of these games just disappear. They may not be the most amazing games ever, but they hold some nostalgic value to me. So, if they're still up by the time you're watching this video, then what are you doing? We need to do all that we can to preserve these games as much as possible. Whether it's the memes or the YouTube videos, we need to make sure this does not go forgotten. Come on, Craig, go get that hamburger.